Welcome! In this short educational series, we will guide you through a selection of the core Insight Engine capabilities. Each of the videos in this series will focus on a selected capability. After providing you with an overall understanding of the selected capability, we will foreground three specifics using real-world examples: data pipeline and enrichments, the AI Studio, enriching data with third-party products and providers. With Squirrel, data is modelled and enriched upfront when it is running through the pipeline. This way, enrichments such as keyword tagging through known entity extraction or classification based on a trained machine learning model are applied to the data. Squirrel's AI Studio allows users to label data on an intuitive workbench and create their own machine learning models. Remodeling of the data is achieved by rerunning it through the processing pipeline, for example, after publishing a new version of a machine learning model to the pipeline. Let's move on to looking at these three specifics in a little bit more detail.
Squirrel offers a flexible and scalable data pipeline. Each item runs through a specific data pipeline that can be customized to meet the needs of the content type at hand. There are three pre-built pipelines, which apply a series of pre-built pipeline steps on the item: minimal, standard, and binary documents. I will walk you through what each of these does. Minimal does transformations on the input, standardizes content, and indexes data, and then cleans the cache. The standard setup adds a few steps, namely deduplication, sanitizing HTML content and actually removing bad HTML content. And then additionally, language detection is run before the content is standardized and indexed. And again, at the end, we run a cache cleaning. Now, the binary pipeline is the most expensive pipeline, and there are a couple of steps added on top of the standard pipeline here. Namely, content augmentation, content extraction, and thumbnail extraction all serve to get out textual data from binary documents and a thumbnail of the document. The pipeline can flexibly be expanded by additional pipelets for specific enrichment types. One example is to prepare the data for semantic search. The semantic search can be configured to rely on a custom trained model or a pre-trained model such as the Word2Vec 300 expander. The results you're seeing here come from the latter. As an example, searching for the term bank also finds articles that mention credit, banking, or financial. Let's find out more about Squirrel's AI Studio. The pipeline offers a number of supervised and semi-supervised techniques to attribute metadata on a document and a sentence level. A key element is KEE, known entity extraction. The first step is to provide a list with entities, for example countries. KE allows you to tag items with keywords based on the mapping provided. For example, we can tag the items with the country that is matched and the continent or the capital city of that country. The setup is done in the known entity extraction section under the AI Studio tab. Give the KE a name, upload the file containing the mappings, define the matching fields and the keywords you want to assign to each item. Save the KE, and by including it in your pipeline, any item that now runs through that pipeline also runs through the KE.
The real highlight of the platform is the AI Studio. It's the world's first no-code environment to build machine learning models on unstructured data. While the same does exist for structured data, a business analyst can, for the first time ever, build, deploy, and operate machine learning models built from text. Now, the AI Studio covers the full cycle from labeling data, training the model on the labeled data, validating the model, and publishing it to Squirrel's pipeline. Let me give you an introduction to each step. So the process starts by defining a candidate set. It consists of the results of an initial query to pre-select potential candidates for labeling. We then create a ground truth where our manually labelled data is collected. Here we have the possibility to define the tagging level on sentence or document, select the sentence splitting, and define our labels. With our labels defined, we can start labelling the data using the list or focus view. The labelling candidates are highlighted, but we can also assign labels to any other sentence that might be a good match. Once you have labelled enough data, you can check the labels on the labelling overview and then build the model. Squirrel ships a couple of template classifiers. Let's select fast text. Now, in that selection, we are then presented with a little explanation of the template and the options to specify the labels to classify and which labels to show on the data. We finally give the model a name and set the ground truth on which we want it to run. Hitting save and train kicks off the training run. Now, a trained data scientist also has the possibility to use a Jupyter notebook to tweak all parameters and import the results into Squirrel. Once we're finished, we can validate the model looking at the performance metrics. And if we are happy, we can publish the model to the pipeline where we can add it as a pipeline step. Any item running through the pipeline will now also run through this classification step. Looking at the results, we can see the sentences that were classified highlighted in the text body. Now, a dedicated course and more detailed practical introduction is also available on the Squirrel Academy. We would highly recommend that you try the AI Studio for yourself. And if any capability beyond what we've already shown you here is required for your processing, then we can resort to third-party services thanks to Squirrel's flexible pipeline and API architecture.
As discussed, the pipeline can be flexibly expanded. In fact, Squirrel uses for some of the processing steps already third-party products. Examples are our out-of-the-box sentiment analysis that you see in our Squirrel Sales Insights app. It uses Vader sentiment analysis as well as pre-trained models from Hugging Face Transformer library, for example, Finbird. Another example is named entity recognition, where we resort to Spicy's NER model. For semantic search, we can rely on pre-trained models such as the Word2Vec 300 expander. And for video transcriptions, we have successfully used Amazon Transcribe to convert speech to text and make it searchable on the FinTech Bridge page. We have seen partners of ours building custom pipelets in integration any number of third-party services. In this short video, we highlighted data pipeline and enrichments, the AI Studio, enriching data with third-party products and providers. If you would like to find out more, then head over to the Squirrel Academy at learn.squirrel.com.